Hello there, everybody. So we're going to keep working on our toolbox that we were doing some normal mapping stuff in the other day, last time, whatever. And we're going to make some materials for it inside DDO and play around with some of the material stuff that we can do. And so to kind of get started, I'll just go ahead and start up DDO here real quick and fill out my project settings here. So first thing is I'm going to give it the mesh, and I've got all of these in a folder somewhere. Quicksell projects, yeah, this looks good. So there's my toolbox mesh. My material ID is the color ID that we made a while back. My normal, I'm going to use the normal map that I just finished making in NDO, which could have been also built on top of any normals that I'd baked out of Maya or had made in DDO and then went back to NDO, whatever, But so I'm just going to grab this mesh normal right here. Now I'm going to end up wanting this file in a little bit, so we'll deal with that when we get there. But basically, you can see I've got it loaded up now, kind of in NDO format where I can see everything. This Cobalt logo right here, which is what was used for creating that normal detail right there above the top drawer. I'm going to end up needing that layer in DDO as far as providing, so that way I don't have to try to line that stuff up again because it's already lined up. So yeah, I'm going to need this image later on. Let's see, 1024 is what I did. Let's see, export target. Let's go ahead and change that over to our Unity 5 metalness workflow. And we're looking good. We're going to save this. Sure, save it in toolbox. That sounds fine. Actually, no, let's not save it there. What I'm going to do is in my toolbox, I've got a folder. I thought that folder was empty. Let me double check. That folder should be empty. It is empty. Okay, cool. Okay, so that folder is empty. So I'm going to use that empty texture set folder. And I'll say OK to that. And then we're going to go ahead and create this and let Quixel go through and create our starting maps that we're going to work with. And then from there, we will start adding our materials into this and building up and change some details on things. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Shouldn't take too awful long here. I guess I could just pause the video, but hey, we are loaded and we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and hit OK. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and open up 3Do, and I'm going to kind of let it sit here, but I'll be dragging it on and off the screen quite a bit. If you do have multiple monitors, very nice. Very nice to be able to have. Oh, you should not be running on my integrated. You should be running on the other one. Okay, I'll have to figure out how to switch to that later on. Oops, wrong button. Okay, so here is where our model is at the moment. Shift right mouse button will allow me to kind of rotate these around. And yeah, I'm definitely going to have to figure out how to switch that to my other video card on this thing. Well, that's fine. We'll deal with that in a minute or later. Not in this video. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this off to my other screen. Now, very useful if you do have other screens for doing that kind of stuff, so that way you can see your changes on the screen real time. All right, so on the albedo, I'm going to go ahead and create me a new material. And so instead of using the smart materials, which we can use, I'm going to go ahead and build up some materials here. So I'm going to create a new material. I'm going to go to paint, and let's see. I'm going to use this thick machine paint right here. Looks kind of nice to me. I like that. Yeah, you don't have one I like better. So yeah, I'm going to use that. Unless you have painted metal. Let's see. What do you have in metal? Bronze is not at all what I want. Keep going down. Yeah, I'm going to go back to that thick machine paint. Okay, so paint. Thick machine paint looks good. We'll create that. And then that will automatically be applied to my whole model, which is fine for a starter. So here's what I've got going now. So let's go ahead, and I want to go ahead and create a group for this because I want, I'm not just going to have one material applied to each material ID. I'm going to be layering my materials. So I need them to be layered, to be grouped. So with this paint thick machine paint selected right there, I'm going to click this folder icon. And what that does is it creates a group, a Quixel group, that will then put that paint thing inside that group. I'm going to go ahead and change the name of this by double clicking that, and I'm going to call this main paint. And next I'm going to assign this to only part of my object. So I've got this little square right here. I'll click that square, which will bring up the different colors that are on my color map. And let's see, blue maybe? Is that what I did? I can never remember what colors I use. Nope, looks like blue went to my steel pieces. It was pink. I probably should have known that. Or, yeah, it's pink. I'm pretty sure it's pink. Okay, so there we go. We've got that applied there. So now I can go inside this with this folder right here, or with this arrow, and I can go into the group and make some tweaks to this. So the first tweak I want to do is I want to change my scale on this. You can see how these the details here, they just look a little bit too big for this. So I'm going to, on my scale here, I'm going to go ahead and drop this down, maybe -1, and kind of let that update. See what that looks like. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. I could go down to -2 maybe, but I kind of like that at the moment. Next up is I want to go ahead and change the color of this. So I'm going to change this thing's color to a blue kind of color. Yeah, maybe that one. There we go. All right. Now I want to go through my gloss and metalness maps and make some adjustments to that as well. So I'm going to go to my gloss. And with the gloss, what I can do is I could turn down how glossy this thing is. This, and get it closer to this matte kind of finish. And in the metalness, I can alter how metallic this thing is. Currently, this is considered to be not metallic at all. I could bump that up maybe if I wanted. And it kind of starts to take on a little bit more of a metallic appearance. Now, I'm not really after a glossy surface on this. So, I don't want it, like what we had here, this really shiny kind of thing. Not really what I'm wanting. So that's kind of why I've got this gloss turned down. Let's zoom out on this some. Okay, yeah, I'm liking what I've got there at the moment. And my light's a little hot on it. But I like that. Yeah, okay, I like that. All right, so next up, let's go ahead and, let's just get the rest of these things set up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click this arrow, this back arrow right here at the top of the Quixel thing. So I'm back on my main area and add another material to this. And this time I'm going to add a plastic. And this is going to be for my wheels. And let's see, maybe a polymer? Sure, why not? Let's do a plastic polymer on those wheels. Or what about an old computer? No, I like the polymer better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit create on that. And it's going to automatically be applied to everything, and which is fine, but then I'll go ahead and put it in its own group and change color ID for that as well. So I've got my polymer right there. Let's put that in a group here. And once that's in a group, which it now is, I'm going to change the name of this to be wheels, because yeah, that's all it is. It's just the wheels. So let's see. I think the wheels are yellow. And there they are. They're down there. Now I don't want this shininess going on there, so let's go ahead and drop down and take a look at what we've got going on in our group with our polymer. So let's change our scale on it as well. Maybe drop it down. And, oops, I was in the gloss map. I wanted to do that in the albedo. Oh, well, it does it everywhere. Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, my gloss, I'm going to go ahead and drop my gloss down. I don't want this thing to be reflective. And my metalness, it should be down to 0. That's good because I don't want a metallic looking thing on this. All right, so yeah, there's my wheels down there. That looks good enough for me. And let's go back. And now we'll add a metal texture for all the rest of these things here. So, or metal material. So let's do another material. Let's go to our metal section, and aluminum's probably not really what I want. How does this brushed rough thing look like? Maybe that one. What about galvanized? Yeah, sure, let's go with galvanized. So let's create that. Wait for that real quick. Okay, so we've got galvanized steel on everything. Let's throw that into its own group. And once we get that in a group, we'll go ahead and rename this. And I'm going to call this metal details. And go ahead and assign it its own little color ID right here. Go. There we go. And this is going to be blue. Okay, let's see. How does that look? That's not bad. I can deal with that. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's go into our grouping here. I'm going to drop my scale down, probably like -2 on that. Because I know this galvanized steel had some details. You know, when we had it on the whole thing, you could kind of see those details. So metalness, you're pretty metallic, right? Yeah, gloss looks good. Okay, so I'm pretty set there. Let me take a look at my wheels again real quick. Go into my wheels group. And what can I do to this color? I'm going to make this darker. I'm just going to go black, black. Let's say okay to that. Okay. Yeah, okay, that made him a little darker. I like that better. And oh, it's in the gloss. Dang it. Oh well, that's fine. No, it's not fine. Wrong. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so just Control Alt Z to kind of go back a little bit here. Oh, go away. Oh, never mind. I'll just pull it up. Yeah, I need to pay attention to what tab we're in up here, but I do want the gloss. There we go. Let me go back to my albedo. Okay, yeah, it's nice and black there. Let's see here. And on the albedo, let's try improving our texture intensity on this. Let's see what that does for us. Okay. There we go. Yeah, okay, I'm liking this so far. I can come back here to my metal details, maybe do some tweaking here. No, I'm kind of liking what we have there. Gloss. Okay, so this is the color that gloss is back, basically. If I crank this up, get an idea there. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let's put it down around here, maybe. Okay, yeah, we'll leave it. We'll leave it like so at the moment. All right, so I want to add some details to my toolbox itself. I don't want it to look quite as new as it does. So for my main paint, I'm going to go on into its group right here. And let's add a new material on top of the thick paint that we've already got. And, oh, let's see, we've got a bunch of options here. I'd like to try to find something that's, oh, here we go. I'm going to go with maybe that coarse rust right there. Yeah, let's just do that. So I'm going to hit create on that. And it just basically got applied to everything. Like so, right? Which isn't really the look that I'm after. Let's go ahead and change our scale down a little bit. Maybe -1. Let's see. Might have to drop it down a little bit more. We'll check this out here. No, I can live with the -1 right there. So what we want is we don't want this applied to everything. We want this only applied to certain parts. And to alter what parts it's being applied to, we can use this right here, which is the Dyna Mask. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Dyna Mask. And right here, this question is asking whether we want, as we're editing, whether we want to see the materials like this or we want to just see black and white. Black being where the mask is not applied and white where the mask is applied. So now to show you, we'll just click no. And the no is going to give me this black-white version here in just a second. Like so. And you can see that currently it is being applied to everything. Now, in actuality, it's not. If you look back here at our texture, at our Photoshop texture back here, you can actually see that it's not being applied to everything. But our Dyna Mask doesn't really know that. And this is just one of those things about the Dyna Mask. So if you want it to basically, if you want this thumbnail here, this preview, to closer match what's actually in your texture set, go ahead and click the little square right here, and we can then assign that to the color ID. And yes, this same color ID that the group's assigned to, which is why it's being applied out like this. But as far as how 3Do might handle it, it's going to be different. So you can see right here that that's changed our thumbnail right there. So let me go ahead and get out of my Dyna Mask editor there. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's coming out. Okay, so we're getting out of the Dyna Mask editor. And so now you can see that our preview only shows those parts of it. And I don't know why it went over to gloss. It should stay right here on the albedo. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click the Dyna Mask again and do no again. And you'll see this time the wheels and the handles will stay their current material, and we'll be able to see. There you go. So the black is where it's not applied and the white is where it is applied. And we have different presets that we can use. You can just kind of pick and choose, take a look at them, see if you like any of these. So this gives you this idea of the white is where this rust course will be applied, the gray a little bit, black no, not at all. So if we were to accept that one, for instance, which I'll just go ahead and accept that real quick, or try to. Give it a moment to update everything. Still updating. There we go. So now you can see the blue is starting to shine through, and now we've only got some of those details there. Pretty nice. Okay, so like this cobalt thing that I mentioned, I'm gonna want I want that lettering to show up there correctly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move 3Do off my screen real quick, and I'm gonna go into that NDO folder that has my original normal map I made inside NDO. I'll go ahead and double click that so it loads up here inside of Photoshop. Just gonna hit close on that. Bring up my normal workspace here. There we go. Let me see. Let me go ahead and close that tab real quick. And what I'm after here is going to be this layer right here. If I turn that on, you can see that's got white lettering, which is what was used to create the actual normal detail. So I'm going to select this layer, right-click on it, and go with a duplicate layer. And then when this menu comes up, instead of just hitting OK, I can actually duplicate this to another document. So let's go ahead and throw it on my mesh albedo file right there. So I'll select that, go ahead and hit OK. So it's been copied over there. So I'm now done with this normal map file that I just had to load in. So I'll go ahead and close that real quick and say no reason. It didn't really change anything. And then over here in my albedo map, here is the cobalt logo. And it was copied into the main paint layer. So let's see, let's go ahead and turn that on so we can see it. We can now see it there. We can now, if we come over here, if we refresh everything, we should get some white lettering right over here. There we go. But this is on top of my rust and everything. So let's pull this down below the rust so that maybe any rust gets applied to that there. You can see how that dimmed it out some. So some of that rust got applied to the top of that. So that was pretty nice. Okay, so the last thing we're going to take a look at is how we can actually manually paint some details onto this thing. So let me go ahead and... Oops, I clicked the wrong thing and kind of paused the recorder there. Okay, so... Oh, yeah, so manual detail. So I'm going to create another layer on top of this rust course, or another material. Let me do a new material. And this time, so that we can kind of see this a little bit better, let's go ahead and, you know what, let's just go to decay. It's going to be a little bit quicker. Actually, what do we have in dirt? Do we have anything cool in dirt? Blah, 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 blah. Let's go to decay. I'm going to select this rust fine right here, create that. Let Quixel do its thing really quick. Pull my 3D over, so we've got this really rough rust applied to everything. Let's drop our scale down, maybe a -1. We'll apply that. Yeah, let's go with that. I thought about going maybe -2, but no, let's do this. Okay, now let's go ahead and... It's strange, I thought I changed that. Oh well. So let's go ahead and change the material it's being, the color it's being associated with, so that as we come in to edit this, it's going to appear a little bit different. Come on now, work with me. Okay, well, it's not going to, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and come into my Dyna Mask, but this time, instead of doing the no, I'm going to go ahead and edit it in full color version, full material version, so I can see what I'm doing to this as I'm doing it. Really odd that it wouldn't let me change that. All right, so here we go. So first off, we're going to go ahead and set this to black. And what that does is it gets rid of it so that it is actually not being applied to anything. And then I'm going to paint where I want it applied. Now to paint it, it's actually automatically in our painting thing, but I'm going to go ahead and tell the Dyna Mask that, hey, we're going to do some painting. So I'm going to do paint mask, and now we're ready to go, okay? So some things here. This right here, this slider is the opacity. How, you know, if we're all the way down here, then we're painting mostly solid. If we're up here, we're painting, I'm sorry, that's backwards. No, that's right. If we're up here, we're painting like so that we can kind of see through it, and down here we can't. And we'll experiment with both of these so that we can kind of see that. And then over here, this is what color we're painting. This is a little odd because, well, we're painting rust. What color is rust? No, we're painting a mask, and the mask is either black or it's white. Wherever it's black, that's where the mask is not applied. Wherever it's white, that's where the mask is applied. So usually we're going to want to paint in the whites. If we're painting in the black, we're actually erasing, and we'll look at that too here in just a minute. So I don't know that I want it solid white. I'm going to kind of, yeah, let's go solid. No, let's not go solid. I don't know. Let's do somewhere in the middle, and we'll kind of play around with these here a little bit. And then the last thing I kind of want to show you is this right here. This is the brush that I'm using. So if I click that, I have a lot of brushes I can use. If I click on one of these tabs and move my mouse left and right, I can start browsing through all the different things that I have. And, you know, there is a lot of things that I can use. So if I go to, for instance, this decay section, I don't know, let's take that brush. Sure, why not? I like that brush. I've got my size, my spacing indicates, how much of a gap between each, if you want to think of these as each stamp, if you want to think of it that way. I kind of want my spacing fairly tight down here. The 10 that it was on was pretty nice. Or I can move it up, whatever. But yeah, I'm going to probably put it down around the 10 there. And I can change the angle. I can change how round it is. Let's go there. Whatever. So let's see. How big is this brush? We'll try that. So I'm just going to click up here. And so right here is my brush size. Not terribly big. So I can increase or decrease my brush size in this view using the bracket keys, which are right above the Enter key. So the closed bracket, the one on the right, makes it bigger. The open bracket, the one on the left, makes it smaller. So, let's maybe go like that. Let's rotate this around. Move this up some. And let's paint us some rust details down here and see what happens. So we'll go ahead and just going to paint these. And you see how it's painting that rust on the mask right up there. And a really cool thing about this is it will paint around our seams. So there's actually a seam right here, but it is actually wrapping around there and putting, that was pronounced oddly, and putting the masking information where it belongs on my template, so I don't have to worry about trying to line it up or anything. So I'm going to have this bottom area kind of rusted out. I don't know, it's a marine thing or something. So yeah, something like that. That looks pretty nice. Now let's turn this to black, and we'll see what happens. So if I turn it to black, I'm erasing. And it's not that I'm erasing, it's that I'm making my mask in that particular area to be black, which would not apply a mask at all. So put it back up to white and paint this back in there. Let's change some of this setting. So let's slide our opacity all the way down there. And you can see that our opacity here is basically see-through. So we're not getting anything, right? And if we go all the way up to solid 1, we're getting our mask, and the only way that it's see-through is anywhere that the mask is not applying. So like right up in this area, where I've got the rust up there, but the white kind of is a little bit transparent because I had my opacity down a little bit at that point in time. Okay, so we can put some more details in there. That looks pretty cool. I like that. In case it ever gets knocked over, let's put some rust down here. And you know what, since it is on here, now this isn't working here because this rust material, is not actually on that material ID, so I can't paint on that. I would have to apply it to that material ID, so I'd have to go into that group and apply some rust to that one, and then I could paint on there. That'd be pretty nice, I'm sure. Let me add some more. There we go. Nice and rusted down there. I like that. Okay. Let's do one other example thing here. And this, oh, crud, I did not click accept mask. Can I still click it before you close? Okay. It's there. Okay, fine, whatever. All right. All right, there we go. All right, so there's that. So the other thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and add a decal to this, because a lot of times, we want our information that we want to put on it, or any details that we want to put on it, might be from another source, kind of like what I did with the cobalt thing there. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to move 3Do out of the way there, come down into here, and in my toolbox folder, I actually have some decals where I just went and found some random manufacturer parts that somebody, a mechanic might have these stickers that they just slap on the side of their toolbox or whatever. So like, let's take this AED one right here, and I'm just going to throw it. This right here is the side of my toolbox, and right down here is my rust. And you can see how it applied the rust in all the appropriate places, but like right up here, it did not put it over onto the tire part or the wheel part, because that's on a different color map, a different color ID. pretty nice stuff. So let's take this AED logo and I'm going to slap it. Just dragging it right in here. And there it is. Shows up there. Oops, I got to get 3 to a little further out of my way. There it is. So here's my AED logo. It's still in the main paint. That's the group I'm actually in. Now I could move it to some other one, but I don't want to. I actually want it applied here. I need to go ahead and hit a checkbox on this so that it gets applied. Then it will show up here at the top. And once it's up there at the top, if I do a refresh, there it is. It's right there. Now, of course, this looks like an absolutely brand new sticker because it's on top of all this other stuff. And maybe that's where I want it. In this case, I'm going to say that, hey, yeah, that's where I want it. I'm going to put it there. But I do want to do some tweaking to it. It's a little bit big. So let's take that guy and let's bring up our movement tool. There we go. Turn on our show transform controls. Let's zoom in some with some Control Plus here. And I'm going to go ahead and move this guy down here. Right here is my handle. You know, you start getting to where you can recognize some of these parts that you're looking at. Actually, I'd be tempted to put this on in front of a drawer, but let's do this. I'm just going to drag it right down here. Scale it down some. Hit enter to accept that change. There we go. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to put it right there. Let's refresh this like so. All right, and there's my sticker that's on top of this faded, rough-looking metal thing, right? Okay, I can drop it down some in my layer system here, if it'll go. It said no. That's cool. Try it again. Okay, one at a time maybe. There we go. Ooh, one more, you got this. Yeah, sure, let's put it below cobalt, whatever, who cares. Okay, now it's back there, so now you can see that the masking from this coarse rust is being applied to that as well, so that kind of faded it out some. Basically, it's suffering from the same rust, the coarseness that one is, which is a little bit weird if you kind of think about it, because the sticker probably shouldn't be rusty, but the sticker might be showing dirt or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my sticker back up at the top so it's above all of these guys at the moment. And let's see, let's put a new material on top of that just to kind of impact our sticker only. So I'll add a new sticker. And let's go with, what do we want to go with? Where? I'm going to go with this oil accumulated mechanical grease thing. Let that get thrown on, which of course will then be thrown on top of everything, which is fine. I don't really care at the moment. Go ahead and bring up its Dyna Mask, and I'll edit that in full color as well. Let's set it to black, so it's not applied to anything. Go ahead and make sure we're in our painting mode, which we are. And I'm going to make our brush smaller. Yeah, maybe something like that. Let's change our brush type to Let's see, what do we have in drops? Anything interesting there? Yeah, I'm gonna do like some of those. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do that. That ought to be interestingly odd. Let's bring this up here. Let's drop this down. And let me see. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, it's really subtle, but you can start seeing this stain starting to show up there. You see these? I want to point with my finger, but that doesn't help. You can see the stain starting to show up there, down in here as well. There we go. Just kind of muck that thing up a little bit. Let's zoom out some. And there's our sticker now. Not looking quite as new as it was. They're looking a little bit bucked up. Yeah, we'll go with that. I'll accept that mask. And of course, that mask is being applied only right in this little area, but I could always paint more of that wherever I want. Let's go ahead, go to our AED logo real quick. I'm just going to fade its opacity just a little bit. Kind of get rid of some of the bright whiteness on it. That's what I'm after here. All right. So there we go. Yeah, so there's some basics of material creation with Quixel. We've added, we basically created our materials, did some tweaking to them, really digging the rust that we added down there. That's really nice. Now, of course, I've still got to go through and do some stuff to these handles and all of that. And to be honest with you, I'm thinking the galvanized is not really a good choice. So let's change that real quick just to kind of see how we can do that. So in my metal details, I'm going to select that group, go in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a new material. And I don't like that galvanized steel. It does not really have the look that I wanted. So I'm going to go with a more kind of traditional one. Let's go with this brushed rough one right there. We'll hit create on that one, which is now going to be applied above our galvanized steel, which will be fine. There we are. So my galvanized steel, I'm going to go ahead and select that guy and then hit my folder, my delete, my trash can. I'm just going to chuck that one. I don't want it anymore. So let's chuck that layer. So now we've only got our brushed steel. Let's take a look at what we've got going on here. Let me see, where's my metalness on this? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm liking that one a little bit better than what we had before. I'm going to I'm going to drop my scale down to about a -2 on that. Go ahead and force a refresh. Okay, so now I'm ready to start painting some details on that part. And so there we go. Yeah, pretty good progress there. Okay, so any questions, just let me know.